ran earlier, this class is, we're trying out webcasting. So live streaming, we've got about 10 people around Region 12 that are tuning in on their home computers or tablets or whatever. And we're just testing this out, see how it all goes. So we might have to stop and interrupt at some point, or she may give me directions. I may even be able to take questions from the home viewers. So you are part of a great experiment. If those of you in the back would like to come up closer, we're going to be showing stuff on the screen, and we'll be singing together too. So it would be fun to have everybody singing together. I'm Julie Starr, and this is a class on singing better intervals. It's called From Point A to Point B. And what I hope to do this afternoon is to help you see, hear, feel, and sing better intervals. You can use all your senses. So, Randy, I'm ready when you are.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can manage this technology. Oh. That's what I wanted you to see. From point A to point B. So this is not a class in identifying intervals. It's not a class about chords per se. It's not a class about how to find your starting note from a pitch. Right? This is specifically a class about tuning better intervals in our vocal lines. All right? So the questions may come up that really belong in a different kind of theory class. But that's what this one is focused on. So first we're going to talk about a little bit about what is an interval. It's a spot, not an area. All right, so I'm going to play this. So how about this? Would you sing that note, please, as the first side? Good, all right. Now, sing it the way you've heard it sometimes as the second. Good. It's not really different notes, is it? Just different parts of the note. And what makes that happen? We just had a class with Tori that talked a lot about the things that affect our intonation. What are some of the things that she raised there? Like breath, resonating in different spaces, the oh and the ah, right? Posture, support, all of that kind of stuff. There's so many things that can cause that. So the first thing we need to know about better intervals and better tuning is that we have to use better vocal production and like vocal production. So I'm just reinforcing what you already have. So this piano, when I play this, it will always play that. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to migrate. It's not going to sound different. It's just going to sound like that. All right? But our voices are infinitely malleable instruments. So I'd like us to play with that a little bit. Would you all stand up and find a partner? And get close. All right, now I want you, first of all, to apologize to your partner for any possible bad breath. Now you're going to, here's what you're going to do. You're going to put foreheads together. Your two foreheads together. All right? Now, what I want you to do is I want you, one person is at one. Choose who's going to be the one, who's going to be the two. All right? All right, twos, you're going to go first. Ones, I want you to, I'll take this, let me take a more comfortable note maybe. Can you all hear that? You're just going to sing that on O, a nice solid O, right, dead on the pitch, all right? One, sing that. Now, foreheads together, the twos, you are going to sing this note, and I want you to migrate the sound the way that Tori was doing, backwards and forwards in your resonating space, okay? Forehead to forehead. What did you feel? What did you notice? Let me see some hands. Observations? Way in the back, yes. You're going to have to speak up. What? You noticed vibrations, beats in the sound, right? It didn't sound like one tone. It sounded like two that were going like that. What else did you notice? Was it hard? Yeah. It's hard to sing against somebody that's not in your frequency, right? This is a way that you can just play like in your quartet or something. Are you really in the same resonance? All right. Now, you can modify that up and down. So let's switch roles. 2s, you're going to hold steady. And 1, I want you to play with your resonance. Up, forward, back, whatever. Drop the palette, lift the palette, see what happens. 2s, hold. All right. Any other observations? Raise your hand. Any other? Yes, Megan. It feels out of tune, she said. It feels out of tune. So you can feel when it's out of tune, and you can feel when it's in tune. Now, go back together and make it match. That's awesome. Do you know that you doubled your sound? You doubled your sound by everybody being in the same resonance and matching and tuning. We double our sound. All right, have a seat. All right, so it's important, isn't it? So let's explore a little bit about this. An interval is the distance between 2 points, or in our case, 2 notes, right? So on the piano, as we said, 1 pitch, 1 key, 1 note, always. With the voice, infinitely variable. We have to work a lot harder than a piano, right? Okay, now we can hear, just as you heard on the same note, we can hear in tune on intervals when we go from 1. So let's sing me this. All right, sing me that interval. Good job. Does anybody happen to know what that interval is? Major third. It's a major third. Very good. All right, so now I want you to, we're just going to listen carefully to the piano. I want this half to sing exactly what the piano is doing. Good. All right, now I'm going to give you the first note, and I want you to play with it with your voices until you feel that it truly tunes. Now go move to the third. Okay. Do you hear how the piano is a little flatter than you got it to be? The piano is an equal tempered instrument, and we adjust our voices to tune to the overtone series because we're good barbershoppers. Did you guys hear the difference as they were doing it? Why don't you do that for them? Okay, so play. Oh, sorry, we're just gonna sing this piano interval exactly with the piano. Good. Now I'm going to give you the first note, and I want you to use your ears to tune it perfectly in the barbershop style. So that's a good thing that we know how to do that. Okay. So we know our notes. Why don't we always sing those wonderful intervals that tune?
Posture, breath.
Sometimes we learn at the piano, don't we? And if your ear hears the piano often enough, you're going to sing to the piano. Now, that's not bad. Singing in tune with the piano will get you to B. Okay? If you want to go beyond B into A levels, You have to really start using your barbershop ears. You can use them anytime, at any level. It's a good thing. But really, if your chorus or your quartet is having trouble singing in tune to the piano, that's the first step. Check your notes on the piano and make sure, are you singing those notes, right? And then start to work on the ear, getting that ingrained in the barbershop style. So can you sing the right notes without singing the right intervals? Those are the right notes? In barbershop, you can sing the right notes and not necessarily sing the right intervals. Can you sing the right intervals without singing the right notes? No. You have to have the notes first. All right, just wanted to make sure we knew that. All right, so I have my own theory. In addition to everything else that Tori talked to us about for good singing and creating in-tune singing, I have some physical principles that I think go to work on all of us. One is for intervals going up. I think the principle of inertia applies. And for intervals going down, gravity. Okay? So, very often we try to go up to an interval and we don't quite get it, right? We're just a little under that tone. But, whoa, going down, whoa. I'm there and beyond. There and beyond. All right, so here's a little exercise I'd like you to do. Are you sitting comfy? Just sit comfy, really comfy, all right? I'm going to ask you to quickly stand up, all right? All right, now pay attention this time. Go back, pay attention to your body, sit down, rest, relax. Quickly stand up. All right, now this time, I would like you to sit down knowing that you are going to be standing up again immediately. Now stand up. Did you notice anything different? Yeah. What was different? You could get there quicker, couldn't you? Because you were ready, yeah. You didn't sink into your chair very much. You were ready. Ready going down, ready coming up. All right? Do that one more time. You get to sit down as if you are going to be standing up next. Okay? So my belief is that we tend to let things rest when we sing. That we'll go through it, we'll start, like Tori said, we'll start with this great breath and great posture and great lift, and then, 4 measures in. Okay, I'm tired. So what happens when you rest is you let things fall. You let gravity take over. And so then it's harder to get everything up, and inertia. Things at rest tend to stay at rest. Things in motion tend to stay in motion. If you're alert and your body is in motion and your face is alive, guess what? You're going to sing those upward intervals much, much easier and much more in tune. And gravity will not take over when you try to descend. Does that make sense? All right? Good. This is just my own little principle of physics. So we know that you have to be energized, engaged, lifted, and ready all the time, all the way through the song, right? That's what they talk about when they say, are you involved, are you engaged, are you part of the message of the song and the physical act of singing the song. So remember this whole sitting down, standing up thing next time you're getting tired on the risers. All right, so why does it matter? Why is all this important anyway? Let's go to the judging category description book. This is the prescription for the judges of what they're looking for. And they say a primary cause of inaccurate singing is careless interval singing. You just relax too much. You just aren't ready. Developing a good sense of interval singing is the foundation of barbershop singing. Straight from the book. All right? Any comments on that? Questions? Do we have any webcast questions? Nope. All right, good. All right, so let's move on. Before we before we get into a little bit more of experimentation, I want to just review a little bit of note names and the scale tones, because we're going to be talking about notes of the scale that will help us tune better. So, whether you can read this or not, you know that that's a scale, right? Okay, this happens to be a scale in the key of C, also known as do, re, mi. If we're in the key of C, C is do, right? Also known as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All these scale tones are relative to do, right? So 3 is from 1, 1, 2, 3. They also match on the keyboard. You can play them. Now, in the key, you can play in any key, and the interval series is always the series of the major scale. That's another class. But it always sounds the same. No matter what key we're in, the intervals sound the same in relation to each other. Okay. I just want to make sure that we know that these are all just different ways of saying the same thing. So if I use the term do or 1, or in the key of C, I use C. In the key of F, I use F, for instance, that I'm talking about the same thing. Everybody get that? All right. Good. Okay, so sing me, oh, you don't need to sing a scale, you know a scale. All right, would you take out your handout and look for the tag City of Refuge, which is on the second page. Run to the City of Refuge. All right, so I'm going to take it apart. We're all going to learn all the parts. Good. All right, so let's learn the lead line first. What scale tone does it start on? We're in the key of C, 5, G. Got it? So, play this. You probably know this. Why don't you sing it? You know this one, right? Sing. So here's our keynote. Here's our lead starting note. And so everybody sing the lead line. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Run to the city of refuge and run.
Good job. All right, so everybody knows the lead now. You can all mix and match anytime you want. All right, let's all learn the bass part. Basses very often, almost always start on do or something that leads to do. And they always end on do. Just as a general rule in barbershop music. All right, so let's start with the basses. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Run to the city of refuge, better run.
Good. Let's play that interval. Did you hear that gravity kind of took over on that lower note, didn't it? Easy to do. All right, let's do it one more time. Run.
Run to the city of refuge, better run.
Good. Put them together. Bass and lead. Pick apart.
Run to the city of refuge, better run.
Good job. All right, let's learn the baritone line. You too can sing baritone. You can. All right. What scale tone did they start on? 3. All right, so we're going to start them on E and
Run to the city of refuge and run.
Good. So that little funny little mark there is a flat, and flats take it down a half step. Think about it as a spade pointing down. You're going to just dig a half step down. Okay, one more time.
Run to the city of refuge, better run.
Good. Bum, bum, bum. Full step. One more time.
Run to the city of refuge, better run.
Good. Some people are wanting to go a little higher on the run. That run is just a step there. Okay. So it's just it's a half step actually. Okay. All right. So put those 3 parts together. Basses, baritones, leads. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Run to the city of refuge and run.
Good job. That's all we're going to do right now. Tenors. Where are you? What note do you sing? What scale tone? You sing do. 8, which is also 1. Same thing. Okay? Until the very next to last. And then you put a little in there. A little syncopation. All right? So let's put the tenors in there. I'm assuming tenors don't need to practice this. Okay. All right. One more time. 4 parts.
She's still distorting.
Good, that's all we're going to take right now. So, in this, do you know what numbers of the scale you are singing? Leads. Oops, I didn't put the tenor up. So tenors, you know you're on 8 or 1. I told you that. Basses, you know you start on 1. What is the next scale tone that you sing? 4. It's a 5th down, but it's 4 of the scale, because we always count from the bottom up. We were down here in that scale, all right? So it's the city of refuge, all right? Baritones, what scale tones do you sing? 3.
2.5.
Flat 3, okay? Then 3, 4, 3. And tenors? 8, and then a 7, and then back to 8. Good. Very good. So you've identified those. That's all I wanted to know. But, so you've each learned your part horizontally, right? But barbershop's about chords tuning, right? So pianists know how to read chords. How many of you play piano? Okay, so you know, you read the whole thing all together. I'm very fumble-fingered pianist. That's why I do one at a time. But I really admire pianists who can read all that music at once and take it in and make their fingers do what they want it to do. We, as ensemble singers, too often we learn just this way. And we don't really listen for what the chords are doing. But the chords are at the heart of barbershop. It's all written on 2 staffs here. Chords are vertical. They are vertical intervals. You see that? So, because we just had the bass, the baritone, the lead, and the tenor starting together. So sing me that on run, just that chord. Good. Bass, baritone, lead, tenor. Okay, now sing it one after the other. I will point to you. I'll give you a signal for each one. So we're going to do bass, bari, lead, tenor in order. Okay. What did we just do? A bell chord. All right. It's a series of intervals. It's just like a chord, only it's just stacked a little bit later than each other. They're in time. So intervals occur in chords between simultaneous notes. But what I'm going to tell you is that we can sing our chords better if we just pay attention to the intervals in relation to do in our own lines. It's a miracle. All right. So, let's see where we are. Any questions so far? Still with me? Okay. So, why does all that matter? Again, back to the book. The judging category description book. Inaccurate chords occur when the performer sings a pitch that is relatively correct, like on the piano, but does not adjust that pitch so that the chord locks in total accuracy. To ensure lock and ring, certain scale tones must be tuned, raised or lowered, to make the chords lock. Okay? That's the principle of what I'm working with you on here today. So let's just review for a second. You got to sing accurate horizontal line. You got to know your notes. When you do that, the chords are going to lock, we hope. But the locking of the chords is a vertical. So singing your horizontal part lines, singing part lines tuned to do makes all chords lock better. I want you to believe me on this, and we're going to prove it for ourselves. Singing the accurate horizontal part lines, that's your job as an individual. But you can, by yourself, cannot control how the chord balances. The chord tuning is an ensemble skill. And that's what your director is for, that's what your coach is for, that's what your recorder is for, to record you and so that you can hear for yourself. All right? If we all committed to being better tuners to do and getting rid of the discrepancy between inertia and gravity, using all that vocal production, the chords would automatically tune miraculously. They really would. All right, so this is something you have control over for your ensemble. So let's summarize again. We've gone over all these things. Where do we need to pay attention? What scale tones do we need to adjust? Any questions so far? We still on this? Okay. All right. In barbershop, we've proven for over time that there are certain scale tones that when we adjust them will tune our chords better, and it's always true. On the piano, as I said, we can't adjust the piano keys unless we have an adjustable thing there, but that's different. The piano is tuned for equal temperament tuning. The piano needs to play in all keys equally well. So the distance between the intervals, between every note, is like equally spaced. For us, the overtone series actually piles up on each note differently. So if you want to pile up an overtone series on C and an overtone series on B flat, they're different. The notes that you sing will be sung slightly differently in different keys. We have the ability to do that, to make those adjustments. The piano doesn't. Piano has to average it out. All right? Sometimes you'll hear singers with that sing with instruments, and they start sounding flat. I remember one, the Mamas and the Papas. Do you remember the Mamas and the Papas? And they did California Dreamin'. And they're singing along with the band and everything, and then they had this little a cappella kind of section, and then they came back in, and whoa, they were really flat to the instruments. Because they were used to having the instruments to carry them. They weren't used to using that kind of tuning that we use. All right, so there are other singers, you can find a lot of them out there that use what I call piano tuning, equal temperament tuning. Piano's a wonderful instrument. I love it. Okay, but for barbershop, for the best barbershop, we need to go beyond that. So the voice is a beautiful, beautiful instrument. Way, way more capable of more wonderful things than the piano. So you know, we use this as a guide. Same thing with a pitch pipe, by the way. If you check your pitch as you're going along, and you check your pitch on every note with a pitch pipe, it's as if you're checking to the piano, which is okay. It's okay. But if you really want pristine barbershop tuning, tune to do. All right, so let's talk about what intervals need to be, what scale tones need to be adjusted. And there's a great big old ear there because you have to hear it. I am not going to go into the depths of Pythagorean tuning. There are the last 2 pages are handouts about this. You can read them, enjoy. But the principle is that the frequencies need to be you just need a little bit more of certain frequencies to make it tune in Pythagorean tuning for the overtone series built on each chord. So the ones we know about, what do you think? 2, 3, 6, 7, and sometimes a little bit of 5. Sometimes 5 just needs to be a little happier. A little happier note, because it can tend to sit on the down side of it. What else needs to be adjusted? Any note that's not in the major scale. So if it's an accidental, if it's marked with an accidental that says, I'm outside of this key, that might be a sharp, a flat, or a natural. If you're in a flat key and you get a natural, it's the same thing. Something needs to be adjusted, and you need to use your ears most. Typically, accidentals going south, you need to sit on them just a little bit. Accidentals going north need a lot of boost upward. All right? Get what I'm saying about accidentals going north and south? Flats and sharps, or flats are going south and sharps are going north. Natural signs are depending on what key you came from. Okay? So if you're in a flat key and you see a natural, what do you have to do to that note? Make it a half step higher. If you're in a sharp key, it's a half step lower. Okay. So I like to think of Pythagorean tuning. I like to simplify it and just say it's adjustments to the scale tones to make the chords ring. And those are the notes to adjust. All right? So we're going to play with this a little bit. Now get to the second line of Run to the City of Refuge. Remember last time the tenors were holding do for us? This time it's the basses. All right, so let's learn this one. Basses, you're just going to sing forever and ever and ever while everybody sings around you. And what do you have to do to make sure that a single pitch doesn't sink? All that inertia stuff. If you just set it out there and then rest, it's going to sink. It's going to sink. Gravity will take over. All right, so think of it as spinning. Think of it as having life rolling around the room. All right, while you hold that note. All right, leads. You're still on 5. Want to sing this with me? Run to the city of refuge and run, run, run. And you see the little breath mark? They do that for a dramatic effect. Okay. All right, so let's put the basses and the leads together. Run to the city of refuge and run. Good. So leads, did any of you feel like when you got to that last note you had to like adjust it just a little bit? Okay. So something happened during there. We're going to figure out what that was. All right, let's learn the, oops, oh, that was the bass, that was the lead. Those are the scale tones you're singing, right? Can you see that? That's like I said, the same way of talking about the same things. Your notes start on 5, go to 4, back to 5, 6, 8. All right, baritones. I'm sorry. Run to the city of refuge, you better run. So this one is a little bit down. Run to the city of refuge, you better run. In piano tuning. All right, one more time. Baritones. Run to the city of refuge, you better run. Good. So you've got to note that change on better because you and the tenors are going to make a different chord there. All right, one more time. Let's put those 3 parts together. Run to the city of refuge, you better run, run. Good job. All right, tenors, you got a lot going on here this time because you skated on do last time. So. All right, let's look at the tenor line. You start on 8. 1. Lovely line, isn't it? All right, let's start you off there, tenors, and run to the city of refuge, you better run, run, run. Good. All right, let's put the baritones and the tenors together. See, so because you've got that moving part there on that last part of that one. So baritone, tenor. Run to the city of refuge, you better run, run. Okay, everybody comfortable with your part? Got it? All right. So now we see that we have these intervals written in the music, and we have them spelled out in the numbers. And what did we just learn? What intervals, what scale tones need to be adjusted for best Pythagorean tuning? 2, 3, 6, 7, sometimes 5. And accidentals. Ooh, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. All right, so this half, leads, I want you to sing your line just the way you would with piano tuning, okay? And
Run to the city of refuge and run.
good. I want you to take 6. When you get to 6, I just want you to really think of it in a higher place. As if you're taking that 3-pronged breath and just gonna, oh, I'm just gonna lift it up, buoy it up a little bit, all right? Sorry.
Run to the city of refuge, you better run.
Good. Run, run. That one was really has to be higher, okay, on 6. So why don't you stand up? Everybody on this side, you all sing the lead line. Everybody on this side, sing the lead line. All right, so you're going to sing it with careless intervals, not necessarily bad ones, but just without paying a lot of attention, okay?
Run to the city of refuge, you better run.
Good. Now, one more time and pay attention to 6.
Run to the city of refuge, you better run.
Did you find that the octave was easier to get to when you do that? It's like you're preparing, you're on a trampoline, and you're just preparing to jump up to that do. So basses, sing with them. You're going to hold do because everything is relative to do, and I'm not going to play these on the piano anymore because we want to get away from this. So basses.
Run to the city of refuge, you better run.
Was it easier to get your note to match the basses at the end? Because you had 6 already there. It's like sitting down, preparing to stand up again. All right? Did you guys hear a difference? Okay, your turn to demonstrate for them. Get up. You know what I'm talking about, Leeds? About adjusting 6, the note that's there, the next to last run. All right? Basses, give us a do, run. Oh, that's really tune up your ears so that it's not run. In that nice ringing place for us. Leads. Going forward, don't they? They have to be using this space. Go back and do it with piano tuning. Leads. Basses. Can you hear the difference? It's subtle, but it's there. It's so there. All right, we're going to have you guys add in the baritones. What do the baritones have to adjust? Almost everything. Almost everything. Baritones, you start on 3. So you're automatically going to have to start higher than that. Whatever you thought it was, it's higher than that. Okay? 3 flat. Oh, let's experiment with 3 flat when we get there. Then 2 is going to be higher also. Back to 3. 4 is okay. We can usually deal with 4. And let's see what happens with 5 if we don't do any adjustment to it. All right? So let's just have the baritones with the basses. Sorry. Good. So let's, just to be clear, let's use the good old piano tuning. You're just trying to get your notes. Okay. Baritones and basses. Good. And remember, you got that little little doohickey note there in them, better. Under your refuge, you better. Okay, now apply good barbershop tuning, Pythagorean tuning, scale tone adjustment of all the scale tones you need to adjust. Basses and tenors, you need to know where to start, don't you? I mean, baritones. You guys hear a difference? It's okay if you don't. Your ears will develop. Okay, but let's do that one more time. Let's put the leads and baritones and basses together. All right? First, piano tuning. Learning the notes. Pum. They're singing well, aren't they? Yeah. Singing well. All right, now I would like you to make those fine adjustments and make it sparkle. Can you tell? Can you tell? You can tell right off the bat because the baritones are so smart. They adjusted their 3 right up there. All right, tenors. Ooh, you've got a lot of stuff to do there. Because 7 and 6 and 2 and 3. All right. So tenors, let's sing tenors with the basses. And tenors, you just sing piano tuning. You start on do. Nice sound, huh? As that would make a nice sound. All right, now, but tenors, I would like you to add the extra that will make it truly sparkle. All right? Basses, start us. Basses, make space for them. Remember, Tori talked about singing in each other's space. You are in charge of that primarily. All right, basses, make space for them. Tenors. So that sharp there, next to the last note, sharp, 7 is already high. 7 sharp is an accidental going north, even higher. Okay, so you just have to think that up there. Put all 4 parts together and you guys listen one more time because then you're going to do it. You want to pitch. Very last note, baritones, the 5, was kind of sinking us just a little bit. So let's adjust that 5. Just make it a happier note. Everybody's going to sing your very best Pythagorean singing. Excellent. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you. All right. What did you hear, feel, see, experience? Yes?
The last one.
The last one, she got goosebumps. You gave her goosebumps. Yay. Yes?
It's just a crisper, cleaner sound.
It's crisper, it's cleaner, it sparkles. To me, it just sparkles.
That's the word sparkle.
Yeah, it's just kind of wonderful. What did you experience singing that? Were you aware of what needed to be done?
My ears buzzed as we got toward the end.
Yeah.
There was a resonant sound to it.
Yes, yes. When you're in the middle of that and it just kind of carries you away on this fabulous sound that just multiplies everything. That's why it is. That's why we're hooked, and that's where the overtones come in. All right. Do you think that you could do that now, knowing this? Well, you could do this if you had your music marked, right, with the scale tones that you need to do. Could you do it by ear? You can learn to do it by ear. You learn to start to feel, I think that needs to be a little higher. I think that needs to be adjusted. And that's when you really start to get into the magic of barbershop, is using your ears that way. All right, you guys, you're going to do the same thing. Have you been learning your part? Okay. All right. So, basses, let's have the basses and the leads first. Piano tuning. I would like you to make more space for them, and leads, I would like you to take that and adjust just the sixth. Let's just adjust the sixth this time, okay? That's the next to last run, all right? And run to the city of refuge and run. Good, all right. So part of what needs to go into that is to make sure that we're all doing the same placement and vowel. Run, run to the city of refuge, you better run, run. Difference, right? So keep them going this way. Even though they may want to go back this way when they get higher. Thank you for playing, but that's not the right answer. All right, one more time. Run, basses. Run to the city of refuge. I would like you, when you get to that run, that six, I would like you to take your finger and spin it out of your forehead, okay? Run to the city of refuge and run. Did you feel a difference? Did you feel a difference? No. Did you guys hear any difference? We're getting them to all agree on that placement for that. We just have a few disagreements on how to produce that sound, and that's what's making that not quite as crisp as it needs to be. So, leads, I want you to pretend that 6 is a sparkly jewel. It's up there on a tree limb, and you've got to go get it, all right? So when you get there, and then do will be you getting it. I mean, you'll be there, all right? So let's do that one more time. Basses, make space for them. Lead, start us, and run to the city of refuge and run. Grab it. Yay! Much better. You can hear it, right? You can hear it? All right. It's baritones. Piano tuning. So I'm doing this so that you can hear both ways, and you'll be able to recognize both ways when you encounter them with the basses. Run to the city of refuge and run. Good. So they're doing a nice job, aren't they? They know their notes. They know their notes, and they're singing intervals. They're singing piano intervals. Let's hear what happens when they sing Pythagorean barbershop intervals from the bass. Run to the city of refuge and run. Good, all right. So when you do from the 2 to the 3, it's like a compound interest. You just got to make more out of it, all right? One more time, leads, baritones, and basses. Run to the city of refuge and Good, all right, you can start to hear it coming in. Let's go back and, let's add the tenors. All right, tenors, you have so much work to do. So much work to do here. I'm so sorry for you. Not really. Tenors, sing with your basses. Good. Some people are already trying to apply the Pythagorean tuning. Did you hear that? That is almost overachieving. All right, so let's go back to the piano tuning. Tenors and basses. Just like what you hear on the piano, okay? So, good job. Now, tune it, make it sparkle. Make it sparkle for us, tenors. Nice. Did you hear that last note has a little shimmer now? Anything else that you observed in that? Let's put all four together and see if you hear. 4 parts. Piano tuning. That's a good sound. All right, tune it up. Make it sparkle. Cool, huh? Yes. Give yourselves a hand. You did a great job. All right. So tell me some observations. What are you hearing? Is any of this new to you? Is any of this making a different kind of sense to you? Yes.
I like having heard Tori and using that to inform this work.
I know, she was a wonderful warm-up act for me. No, because it's all the same thing. This wonderful art and science, but mostly art that we do, is all affected by every piece of this. Your physical posture, your vocal production, your mood that day. Run to the city of refuge. You've seen that. You've seen that sometimes. Okay. So we have to bring it all. We have to bring it all the time. Yes?
It's harder to do if another part is not doing their thing.
It is. This is an ensemble effort, isn't it? We all have to do that.
Can you repeat the comments, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. She was saying it's harder to do when the other parts are not doing what they need to do. I, as a director, often will have somebody come up to me, often a baritone, sometimes a tenor, and they'll say, I can't fit my note in. Okay? It's because the leads and the basses, perhaps, are not creating the interval exactly the way it needs to be. And so theirs is not going to, it's going to be some shade of tuning, but they don't know where to go exactly. So the 2 parts, the lead and the bass, have theirs. Leads and basses, as I think Tori mentioned, leads and basses really tune to do. You must have this down, your relationship to do. Baritones and tenors have to tune to the lead and the bass. Now, you also, if you are tuning to do, it will happen. It will happen, and it will be glorious. Other questions? Lead and bass must be masters of tuning to do. You must know do. Have it in your head. Bum, 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 all the time going. Baritones and tenors tune to the lead and the bass. In a quartet particularly, you'll find this is very true, but even in a chorus, it is more true than not. If you have a baritone who has perfect pitch, and she'll maintain that perfect pitch, and the basses are sinking around her, it's not pretty, is it? It's not pretty. So we are an ensemble organization, and if we all sink, we sink together. So we sink or we swim together, right? All right, yes?
Thank you. We have popular keys that we all sing in, C, G, F. So when the director changes it to F sharp, boy, we are right. Talk about intervals that haven't been practiced. So what is your take on that? You just have to...
Everything is still relative, but for many singers, the feel of where those, the question was, when the director changes the key of a song, suddenly everything feels different, right? And some people really struggle with it. For some people, it's no problem. Okay, this is the new do, I'll just sing a new sol, new 5. But for some people, where it sits, where it feels in your body is different. and you start to struggle with that. And I don't know the answer to that except to practice it in the new key. But the more that you can start just listening to relationships, this is a relationship organization in every sense of the word, right? So, did I answer? Okay. Other questions?
It's just a
Yes.
clarification of what you said. So when they change the key, that's still do.
Yes.
So it's related to the new do.
Everything is related to the new do. Now, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to start highlighting the notes that we adjusted, so you can just see them in another way. Now, if you know chords, and we talk about the chord, the first chord, what is the fifth of that chord? G, right? It happens to be the same as the scale tone because the chord is built on do. Let's take a look at the second chord. You know what that chord is? Anybody know what that chord is? It's an F7. If it were built on F, this is just an inversion of that chord. Bass is on the fifth now. Bass is on C. So an F chord, F, A, C, E flat. You hear that they're the same notes in a different order? If you know chords, don't get confused. We are not talking about the element of the chord that we need to adjust. All right? So it's not necessarily the third of the chord that needs to be higher. It is the third scale tone. This is where some people get themselves really confused. Okay? And I'm just going to say for now, for this class, for the purposes of this class, what you just did and what you heard was all based on scale tones. You adjusted that scale tone. We didn't do anything with the chords. Because chord tuning involves what else besides just intervals? Balance, sync, right? Blend, articulation, matching resonance, matching vowels. Everything's got to match up, right? And so you have to do a whole lot of things from the outside to make that chord really ring in other respects. If you get a chord, if this chord on the piano, you're equally loud, right? In barbershop, if let's say you had, well, you do it. Let's do this, and I'd like the tenors to really wail. Just wail when you get to that next second chord, okay? And we're just going to hold that second chord. So, run, we'll start it. Okay, doesn't even sound like the chord we want, right? They're out of balance, okay? So put yourselves back in balance, and basses, you are going to be dominant. This is a bass-driven art form. All right, I want you to be dominant here. And on this chord, an F chord, who is the root of the chord? Yes. So we need a lot of you leads. F, A, C, E flat. And lead basses, you are on the 5, on the 5th of the chord. You are still on do of the key. Got it? Is that different? Okay. That's a different class. But okay, so I'd like you to this time go, and we'll stop on that refuge first chord of the second measure, and I'd like leads, take charge of that do. Don't blast it, but just be strong. Okay? There's your starting. Should we play that on the piano tuning? You tune it. Cool. So now we've done something with a balance of the chord, which has nothing to do necessarily with the intervals. Right? But that's another class. All right, so let's just see. Leads, the only note in there, although you could have done a nice job of keeping that run, that very first run, in a high space, breathing above it and keeping that 5 happy. All right? Baritones. Yep. I didn't do all the notes, but all the same ones there. Do that one and that 3 flatted. Oh, we didn't pay attention to that 3 flatted. So baritones, let's do this, everybody. And this time baritones, I would like you to sing that flatted 3 on the high side, adjusted upwards, okay? Faces, everybody singing, and...
Run to the city of
Good. All right, now I'd like you to sing it and just sit on it just a little bit, not making it real ugly or anything like that, but just a couple of notches down. Okay, all parts. Baritones are going to adjust.
Run to the city of
Oh, what did you hear? Did you hear a difference? Okay, what did you hear? Which did you like better?
It had, heft to it.
The second one had heft to it, and they filled in that body of that a little more. All right. Now that might depend on the director's ear or your outside ear as a quartet, how you wanted that to go. Okay. But those accidentals you really need to play with till you find the right tuning.
Would the next song be played by it?
Oh, could be. Could be. Her question was, could the message of the song be affected by the way you tune it? Could be, right? If you really want something lighter and more sparkling, that city of refuge, you might want to put it on the high side. Run to the city of refuge. You might want more heft in it. Interesting. I'd never thought about that, but it's possible. All right. Okay, and then baritones, when you go to the D, that needs to be adjusted, and then back to the E, and then back to the G. So you only have one note that you can relax on. And we all know we can't ever relax, right? We can't ever really relax. All right, tenors. You've got that flatted 7. Again, a note you would want to play with in the chord. 6, a flatted 6. And then 2 sharp, really high, and ending on a nice high, bright 3. Is this making sense for everybody? Scale tones. Okay. So, I would like 8 people to come up here. 8 brave people. Yep. You are going to be a keyboard. Thank you. All right, so you face them, and I would like you to space yourselves out equally. This is another technique you can use at chorus to demonstrate what you know about how this tunes. All right, so would you equally space yourselves? Put your hands together so you can space yourselves equally. Are they equal? No, not here. You got too much space between you, Ivy. So this way. There you go. Okay, you can stay there. Okay, all right? Is that about equal? Okay, so that's a piano. That's piano tuning.
Can I move down there?
No. All right, so now let's sing and play this scale that you see. Everybody. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Now, I would like you to just move a little bit this way. I'd like you to move a little bit this way. Okay. You're good. Okay. You're just going to lean. You move a little bit this way. You move a little bit this way. All right. Now sing that scale.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Make sense? All right, go back to where you were. Go back to where you were, equally spaced. Let's sing that tag, Run to the City of Refuge, with this tuning, all right?
Run to the city of refuge.
Good, all right, now, would you respace yourselves for barbershop? All right, use this scale now. Let's use these scale tones.
Run to the city of refuge.
So another visual, another way to do it visually. All right, let's change the key. I'm going to do this in the key of F now. So go back to your piano tuning. All right. What changes in their distances? Nothing. Nothing. It's the same intervals, relationships in the key of F. Okay, so let's all just sing that scale. Do, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Good. Now, would you adjust yourselves for Pythagorean tuning? 3, there you go. Thank you very much. Let's sing the F scale with Pythagorean tuning. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Good. Did you feel yourself adjusting? Can you hear those notes now? Do you know where you need to be making those adjustments? All right. So on your last hand, at the bottom of the handout is another tag in the key of F. Let's try singing that one. When it's sleepy time. Piano tuning, please. Piano placement. Thank you. When it's sleepy time, good. I would say that there's a whole lot of gravity working. And a whole lot of inertia. So, can we make sure that we are ready to sing? All right. Sing it one more time with piano tuning. Good. So basses, your notes, in case you're wondering about that. I'm sorry. Okay, so that accidental is a natural in a flatted key. What do you think you have to do there? What scale tone is it? It's a 4, but it's a natural, right? It's going north. So, basses, I want you to pay particular attention to that. Yes, was there a question? Yeah. What do you think? The leads. You only have one note that's different. Do you need to do anything? What notes? What scale tone is that? 2. Yes, so very important for you to get right. All right? All right, so let's just take a look here quickly. You got to know your notes, of course, and you got to know your intervals in relation to do. Know what needs attention, what are 2. What are the scale tones that need attention? 2, 3, 6, 7, sometimes 5. Yes. 2, 3, 6, 7, sometimes 5. And accidents. Okay, all right. So, and you have to use your ears. So let's take a look. In the tenor line, look at all the stuff you have to adjust now. Because you got 1, 2, 3, back to 2, to a flat 3, to 2, back to 3. You just sit up there. You sit up there nice and high. All right. Let's look at the bass. 8, 7 is higher. 6 is higher. 5. I want you to be nice and bright on that. You got an accidental going north and a flat key. The other part of that is baritone. Okay. So baritones, 7, 6, 8, 7, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 flat, 5. You live there too. Very often, baritones and tenors are living in Pythagorean world. Okay. Oh, go back. All right. So now, our lovely human scale. Would you adjust for Pythagorean tuning? And would you sing what, with this scale, knowing what you know, sing this tag really well tuned? When it's You're trying to find a note somewhere in there that doesn't exist. Sing it with me, basses. When it's sleepy time. Now I want you to make that note brighter, higher, more alive. When it's sleepy time. Almost. Don't let it fall back in the throat. Sing that with me, baritones, hum it. I mean, basses. Hear how high that is, all right? Sing it for me, basses. When it's sleepy time. Yay, all right. Put 4 parts together using Pythagorean tuning. Without attention to Pythagorean tuning, okay? And you guys are going to listen, not one time. When it's sleepy time, down south. Good, so baritones, you know your notes? When it's sleepy time, down south. No. There. All right, 4 parts again, piano tuning over here. When it's sleepy time, down south. Good, now tune it up. That's all I have to say. Tune it up. That was pretty good. That time chord is still a little wonky, right? The basses are going to need a sectional on that, I think. Okay. All right. Your turn. Piano tuning. Good. Now pay attention to what needs to be paid attention to in barbershop. What do you think? Is it worth it? Yeah. Is it worth it to learn this stuff? Thank you very much. You've been a great audience. And thank you for